All right, so here is the solving by factoring, our first worksheet on this concept. And now going back a little ways, remember factoring, there's many different types. There's actually 5 different types, which go back to factoring by GCF, factoring by the original method, factoring by grouping, factoring by difference of squares, and factoring by perfect square trinomial. So your battle with these sections coming up is to remember how to factor, and we add one more piece to it, which is solving. So this worksheet for today will go through the easier styles. Tomorrow it will get more difficult, and then on Thursday you will have a quiz on these. So please pay attention and ask questions if need be. All right, so here's a couple examples of the worksheet. Number 1. Notice this is actually really easy because it's in factored form already. You have nothing to do here. Nothing to factor, which is good, but this helps set you up to see the form that will be coming up. All right, so since it is factored, I have it already down here, you need to set the 2m plus 7 equal to 0, that part, and solve it. Then you would subtract 7 from both sides, which gives you 2m equals negative 7. Divide by that 2, get m alone, isolate the variable, and you get negative 7 over 2. Which, by the way, already tells you that A is your answer, but you do want to keep going further. So you do also need to set m minus 7 equal to 0, right, the second part. And by adding 7 to both sides, you would get m equals 7. So your answer really is m equals negative 7 over 2 and 7, which is answer choice A, which you knew earlier, but it's good to verify. All right, so that's your solution. Do note that if that's actually a solution, you could plug these numbers in to m, right? You do negative 7 over 2 for both m's, and you work this out and you would get a 0. Right, same thing with 7. If you plug 7 in for both m's, you would plug it in and get a 0 as well, just to check your answers. It's a good thing to do, but you don't have to do that. And we'll look at another one. All right, so number 11 here is a little bit more complicated. So you should always look for a GCF, and yes, there's one in common here. Right, so a 2 will come out of all 3 pieces. So take a look for that. So it says look for a GCF. We can divide by 2, so you get this. 2 times parentheses v squared minus 10v plus 16. So when you do that, this piece inside will factor. The 2 on the front does not affect the solution, so we actually just get rid of that 2. Right, but we can factor what's inside the parenthesis, and it becomes, remember this is the original factoring, what multiplies for 16 and adds for negative 10. Right, so it becomes negative 8 and negative 2. This is the simple version with no number in front of v squared. We literally put v minus 8 and v minus 2 equals 0. Then set v minus 8 equal to 0, add 8 to both sides, so you get the 8. Add 2 to both sides, so you get the 2. So therefore, 8 and 2 is your answer, which is choice D. Just like I said with the previous problem, though, you could plug 8 into v squared and 8 into v. This would all give you a 0 to make sure you're right and check your solutions. Same thing with 2. Put 2 in there. 2 squared for your v, 2 for this v. Check those and you would get your solution. All right, so these are some of the easier ways to factor. So do these bunch of problems. This is a great guide for you. And submit those answers on the form, and tomorrow we'll get into the harder factoring. But again, it's just factoring and solving now, which is what we did before we started the whole distance learning. All right, thanks guys.